In this video, we will be continuing our lesson on exercises 1.6 of Mr. John Coburn's Precalculus. We left off at number 27. We'll be continuing answering numbers 28 and onwards. So, let's start. For number 28, the amplitude is 5. The b variable is 8 pi, and the period, therefore, is 2 pi over b, or 2 pi over 8 pi, which is, cancel these, so we have 1/4. Now, because the period is 1/4, we write from the t variables, it will range from 0 to 1/4. 1/4 divided by 2 is 1/8. 1/8 divided by 2 is 1/16. And the fraction in between 1/8 and 1/4 is, let's see. So 0 divided by 16 is 0, 1/16, 2/16, blank over 16, 4/16. So it says here the pattern is 1, 0, 1, 2, something, and 4. So obviously this is 3. Therefore, what's missing is 3/16. So now that we know the t variables, let's multiply them with 5 cosine 8 pi. Here goes 5, 0, negative 5, 0, positive 5. And right now, we divide t, basically t over b. bt is t over b. So for instance, if t is 0 divided with 8 pi, it's basically 0. And if the t is 1/16, it's 2.49. Then if this is 1/8, the bt is 4.97, then 7.46, then 9.95. So we have 0, 5, 2.49, 0, 4.97, negative 5, 7.46, 0, and 9.95, 5. So right now, let's graph it. So here is the point of origin. We have 2.49. We have here, next is 4.97, next is 7.46, and next is 9.95. The amplitude is 5. So above sea level, below sea level. So plot the points. Alright, now let's graph. Let's draw the curve. Illustrate it as accurately as possible. And yeah, that's what we have for number 28. Let's move on to 29. So the amplitude is 4. The b variable is 5 pi over 3. The period is 2 pi over 5 pi over 3, which is, in other words, 6/5. So we know that the t variables start from 0 all the way to what the value of the period is, which is 6/5. 6/5 divided by 2 is 3/5, and 3/5 divided by 2 is 3/10. Now, let's look for the missing fraction over here. So it says here 0, 3, 6, blank, 12. This must be 9 over 10. Now, we multiply the t variables with 4 sine pi over 3. Yeah, that's it. Here goes 0, 4, 0, negative 4, and 0. The bt variables, it's basically again t divided by b. So 0 divided by 5 pi over 3 is 0. 3 over 10 divided by 5 pi over 3 is 0.06. 3 over 5 divided by 2 divided by 5 pi over 3 is 0.11. Then next is 0.17 and 0.23. So here are the coordinates. Alright, so with number 29, here is the graph. Point of origin 0.06, 0.11, 0.17, and 0.23. The amplitude would be 4. And yeah, let's start pointing out the dots. So the graph goes like this. Okay, let's move to number 30. The amplitude is 2.5. The b variable is 2 pi over 5. The period is 2 pi divided by 2 pi over 5, which is basically 5. So, for the t variables, we start from 0 as always, and we end in 5. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. 2.5 divided by 2 is basically 5 over 4. 2.5 could be written as 5 over 2. And right now, what's missing is something over 4. Let's assume that this is 10 over 4. And this one is 20 over 4. Okay, so this is definitely 15 over 4. Now, multiply the t variables to 2.5 cosine 2 pi over 5. We get the following. 5 over 2, 0, negative 5 over 2, 0, 5 over 2. Now, bt is t divided by b. So 0 divided by 2 pi over 5 is 0. 5 over 4 divided by 2 pi over 5 is 0.99. Then the next is 1.99. Next is 2.98 and 3.98. So we have 0, 5 over 2, 0.99, 0, 1.99, negative 5 over 2, 2.98, 0, 3.98, 5 over 2. Let's graph. So we have 0, 0.99, 1.99, 2.98, 3.98, and the amplitude we have 5 over 2. So 0 and 5 over 2 here, 0, 0.99, negative 5 over 2, 1.99, 0, 2.98, 5 over 2, 3.98. Okay, that's number 30. Let's move to 31. So the amplitude is 2. The b variable is 256 pi. the period is 2 pi over 256 pi, which is basically 1 over 128. So for the t variables, we have from 0 to 128. 128 divided by 2 is 256. And 1 over 256 is 1 over 512. We also have 500 over something over 512 here. It's definitely 3 over 512. You know the drill. This is the last time that I'd demonstrated to you. So I think you see the pattern. So yeah, the t variables tend to just be simplified, but you don't have to. They're still equal to each other, so there's no too much strictness in that regard. So the t variables have to be multiplied to 2 sine 256 pi. So we get the following: 0, 2, 0, negative 2, 0. For the pt variables, so 0 divided by 256 pi is 0. 1 over 512 divided by 256 pi is 2.43. Next is 4.86. Next is 7.29. Next is 9.71. Coordinates. Coordinates are as follows. Okay, let's graph. So 0 and 2.43, 4.86, 7.29, 9.71. We have the amplitude 2. Okay, plot the points and graph. Okay, oops, that's number 31. Wait a minute, never mind. Okay, for number 32, the amplitude is 3. The b is equal to 184 pi. In that regard, period is 2 pi over 184 pi, which is equal to 1 over 92. So for the t variables, we start from 0 all the way to 1 over 92. 1 over 92 divided by 2 is 100. 1 over 184. 1 over 184 divided by 2 is 1 over 368. So I'm starting to guess that this is 3 over 368. But of course, if you want to be really sure, do the traditional method that I've taught you for quite a while now. So now multiply the t variables to 3 cosine 184 pi. You get the following: 3, 0, negative 3, 0, positive 3. And so for the bt variables, let's do this one by one. T divided by 184 pi, still 0. 1 over 368 divided by 184 pi is 4.70 times 10 to the negative 6th power. Is that, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but yeah, I hope you still get the point. 1 over 184 divided by 184 pi is 9.40 times 6 to the times 10 to the negative 6th power. So this time it's 3 over 368. We get 1.41 times 10 to the fifth power, negative fifth power. One over 92 divided by 184 pi is 1.88 times 10 raised to negative 5. Okay, so let's tally. Get something like that. 1.41 times 10 raised to negative 5 and 0. 1.88 times 10 raised to negative 5 and 3. Okay, now let's graph. 0, 4.70 times 10 raised to negative 6. 9.40 times 10 raised to negative 6. 1.41 times 10 raised to negative 5. 1.88 times 10 raised to negative 5. And so we have the amplitudes. V0, somewhere here, 1 there. Okay, then we make the curve. If you were wondering how the points are supposed to be positioned, like before we used to, for example, this is a particular graph and their intervals are just 2 points, literally. But there's not much strictness in that regard, since I just want to make it a little more clearly. It's pretty long to write the x variables, so yeah, I just try to adjust. Okay, so let's move to number 37. Actually, we skipped 33 onwards for some reason, possibly because I couldn't answer it anymore. So okay, new instructions. Clearly state the amplitude and period of each function, then match it with the corresponding graph. This time I don't think we have anything to match with. We'll just draw the graph anyways. There's one thing to take note of. There's no pi in b value. Their values will each have pi. Okay, so that's something that we could digest easily. Usually our b variable has pi, but if there's no pi, if it's just equivalent to an integer, regardless if it's positive or negative, that means the t variables will have pi multiplied to it. Of course, 0 times pi is still 0, so just write 0 anyways. But for the other variables that are not 0, whether positive or negative, you will multiply pi together with it. So that's one good observation. And of course, the reason behind that idea is that because it's all because of the period. Because there is no pi in the b variable, if you divide 2 pi with b, then the pi cannot be cancelled, won't be cancelled. So what you have is sort of how you say, for instance here, if b is equal to 4, 2 pi divided by 4 is just pi over 2. So starting from pi over 2, it's this one. All other variables will have pi attached to it with the multiplication sign. So if there's pi in b value, the same values won't have pi. Yeah, this is the rule that has been applied in the previous problems that we have solved. As you can see, b values have pi attached to it. Therefore, our t values do not have pi attached to it. So is the period. their corresponding periods. So for number 37, it's already a giveaway. We've already have the table of values. Aside from this change, nothing else changes. The system still stays the same. Okay, let's start with number 38. Y is equal to 2 sine 4t. So the amplitude is 2. B variable is 4. Period is 2 pi over 4, which is, in other words, pi over 2, or 1 over 2 pi. Now, for the t variables, we start from 0 all the way to 1/2 pi. 1/2 pi divided by 2 is 1/4 pi. 1/4 pi divided by 2 is 1/8 pi. We have here 3 over 8 pi. That's the missing fraction. So as you can see, all t variables have pi, including 0, but we don't have to show it. It's going to be pretty redundant. As long as you understand it, then that's already good enough. But yeah, you can write it anyways. 0 times pi is still 0. But yeah, I won't write it. Multiply the t variables to 2 sine 4t. 2 sine times 4. We get the following: 2, 0, 2, 0, negative 2, and 0. And for the bt, it's basically t divided by b. 0 divided by 4 is 0. 1 over 8 pi divided by 4 is 0.10. Let me check if that's correct for a while. Okay, that's correct. So far so good. Pi over 4 divided by 4 is pi over 16. 3 pi over 8 divided by 4 is 0.29. Pi over 2 divided by 4 is pi over 8. So we have the coordinates 0, 0, 0.10, 2, pi over 16, 0, 0.29, negative 2, pi over 8, 0. So we have 0, 0.10, pi over 16, 0.29, and pi over 8. We have 0 here. By the way, the amplitude is given as positive 2 and negative 2. But then A, it will always be positive, as stated here. Anyways, let's plot the points. Here you go. Now we got it. That's number 38. Let's move to number 39. Y is equal to 3 sine 2t. Amplitude is 3. The b variable is 2. The period is therefore pi. So for the t variables, we start from 0. We end with pi. Pi divided by 2 is 1 over 2 pi. 1 over 2 pi divided by 2 is 1 over 4 pi. Here we have something over 4 pi. Definitely 3 over 4 pi. So multiply those t variables with 3 sine times 2. We have 0, 3, 0, negative 3, and 0. Then for bt, it's t divided by b, or in other words, 0 divided by 2, which is 0, 1 over 4, 1, or pi over 4 divided by 2, which is pi over 8. Pi over 2 divided by 2, which is pi over 4. 3 pi over 4 divided by 2 is 3 pi over 8. And pi divided by 2 is pi over 2. So coordinates, we have something like this. So we have 0, pi over 8, pi over 4, 3 pi over 8, and pi over 2. The amplitude would be positive 3 over here, negative 3 below. Let's plot the points. There you go. Now we get it. That's number 39. Let's move to number 40. So the amplitude is negative 3, but of course there's absolute value, so this will be positive 3. The b variable would be 2, and our period would therefore be pi. So pi divided by 2 is pi over 2. The usual is 3 pi over 4. Now, multiply those t variables with negative 3 cosine times 2. We get the following. Negative 3, 0, positive 3, 0, negative 3. And dt is equal to t over b. 0 divided by 2, which is 0. Pi over 4 divided by 2, which is pi over 8. Pi over 2 divided by 2, which is pi over 4. Then next is 3 pi over 8, then pi over 2. So we have 0, negative 3, pi over 8, 0, pi over 4, 3, 3 pi over 8, 0, pi over 2, and negative 3. Now, let's make a graph from those coordinates. We have 0, pi over 8, pi over 4, 3 pi over 8, and pi over 2. The amplitude are as follows. This is positive 3 over there, negative 3 over there, and let's plot the points and later on graph them. There you go. That's number 40. Numbers 41 and 42 are skipped. So let's continue with number 43. So right now it's going to be quite more challenging. This time our amplitude is a fraction and our b variable is a decimal. So things are going to be a lot more messy, a lot messier. P is equal to 2 pi divided by 0.4. Let's see what the answer is in the calculator. It's basically 5 pi. Okay, so far so good. We start, our t variables start from 0 all the way to 5 pi. 5 pi divided by 2 is 5 over 2 pi. 5 pi over 2 divided by 2 is 5 pi over 4. And something pi over 4 is, I guess, 15 pi over 4. Okay, so multiply those t variables with 3 over 4 cosine 0.4. We get the following. 3/4, 0, negative 3/4, 0, and positive 3/4. For the bt, it's basically the t variable divided by 0.4. So the answers are as follows. 0, 25 pi over 8, 25 pi over 4, 75 pi over 8, 25 pi over 2. So let's wrap up the coordinates. Okay, let's graph. We have 0, 0, 25 pi over 8, 25 pi over 4, 75 pi over 8, and 25 pi over 2. The amplitude is 3/4. Write it that way and plot the points. And make the curve. Okay, that's it for number 43. Let's move to number 44. Amplitude is 7 over 4. The b variable is 0.8. Period is 2 pi over 0.8, which is said to be 5 over 2 pi. So the t variables are as follows. So from 0 all the way to 5 over 2 pi. 5 over 2 pi divided by 2 is 5 over 4 pi. 5 over 4 pi divided by 2 is 2.5 pi over 4. And something pi over 4 would be located here. That is going to be 7.5. So 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10 over 4. That's the pattern. So right now, multiply those t variables with 7 over 4 cosine times 0.8. We get the following. 7 over 4, 0, negative 7 over 4, 0, positive 7 over 4. For bt, it's t divided by b. 0 divided by 0.8 is 0. 2.5 pi divided by 4, 2.5 pi over 4 divided by 0.8 is 2.45. Next is 4.91. Next is 7.36. And next is 9.82. Let's tally. Okay, that's what we have. So 0, 2.45, 4.91, 7.36, 9.82. We have 7 over 4 here, negative 7 over 4 there. Plot the points. So make the graph. Okay, that's number 44. Let's move to number 47. Apparently I skipped 45 and 46. Yeah, let's go with number 47. So given that the amplitude is 4, the b is 144 pi. So we'll be expecting to have t variables that would have integers or constants or fractions multiplied to pi, because the b variable already has pi. So b is equal to 2 pi over 144 pi. It's 1 over 72. We range from 0 all the way to 1 over 72. 1 over 72 divided by 2 is 1 over 144. 1 over 144 divided by 2 is 1 over 288. Here is let's say this is 2 over 288. Here is 288 something. 288. I think this is 4. 4 over 288 is 1 over 72 as a simplified form. 3 over 288 is basically 1 over 96. Okay, so that's the missing variable, or yeah, the missing variable in fraction form. Multiply those t variables with 4 sine 144 pi. We get the following: 0, 4, 0, negative 4, and 0. The bt would be t over b, so 0 here. 1 over 288 divided by 144 pi is, let's see, I'm sorry, it's 7.68 times 10 raised to negative 6. 1 over 144 divided by 144 pi is 1.53 or 1.54 times 10 raised to negative 5. 1 over 96 is 2.30 times 10 raised to negative 5. 1 over 72 divided by 144 pi is 3.07 times 10 raised to negative 5. Okay. 0, 0. 7.68 times 10 raised to negative 6. 4. 1.54 times 10 raised to negative 5. 0. 2.30 times 10 raised to negative 5 and negative 4. 3.07 times 10 raised to negative 5 and 0. Let's make the graph. 0, 7.68 times 10 raised to negative 6, 1.54 times 10 raised to negative 5, 2.30 times 10 raised to negative 5, 3.07 times 10 raised to negative 5. Okay, the amplitude is, here is positive 4, here is negative 4. We have this. Okay, that is basically number 47. Let's move to 48. The amplitude is 4. The b variable is 72 pi. The period is 2 pi over 72 pi, which is basically 1 over 36. Okay, so 1 over 36, that's going to be like, the t would range from 0 all the way to 1 over 36. 1 over 36 divided by 2 is 1 over 72. 1 over 72 divided by 2 is 1 over 144. Here, it's so 1 over 144, probably 3. Okay, let's see what we have. 3 over 144. If you simplify it, it is basically 1 over 48. Okay, multiply the t variables that we have found with 4 cosine 72 pi. We get the following. So bt, we have the following: 0, 3.07 times 10 raised to negative 5. We have 6.14 times 10 raised to negative 5. 9.21 times 10 raised to negative 5. 1.23 times 10 raised to negative 4. By the way, I should have said this earlier. If you feel that the video is pretty fast, even if it's really long, we're covering a lot of practice questions here. Feel free to pause the video from time to time. Learn at your own pace. I'm just trying to not make the video so long. Okay, so right now we have the graph right here, point of origin. Okay, I'm probably just going to copy paste. It's pretty tiring to write manually every time. Rome isn't built in a day. You don't get to, as a learner, you don't really have to rush your studying experience. Take your time. There's no point of studying when you're going to rush everything. So right now I just want to make the video as short as possible given the current circumstances. We still have a lot to go. Yeah, so right now we have the amplitude 4, so we have here, there. We jot down the dots, and we get this kind of illustration. Let's move to number 49. The graphs shown are of the form y is equal to a cosine bt, or y is equal to a cosecant bt. This is something that we've never encountered in exercises 1.3, at least for the videos that I've recently made, including this one. But yeah, I've made it clear here that I'm only going to do cosine graphs, no cosecant graphs for now. So let's go with number 49. We are given a graph, but we have to determine its equation. Okay, this is something new. But before that, we need to determine what kind of graph this is. It's for number 49, it's actually a cosine graph. How is it a cosine graph? As you can see, it starts from the negative value of an amplitude all the way to the top. This is definitely a negative cosine graph, because coming from the negative amplitude, you ascend. So starting from that is already obviously a negative cosine graph. And right now, the amplitude is like between 0.5 and 1. It's basically 0.75. That's the amplitude. Let's look for the period. The period will always be the number at the very last, or at the very right. And right now it is I should have left my cursor somewhere else when I screenshotted this part of the book, but it's 5 pi over 3. Therefore, with that in mind, if we want to look for b, let's say, because p is 2 pi over b, and right now p is 5 pi over 3, let's solve for b. So I think b is, oh wait, I'm sorry, let me retry that. And multiply both sides with Okay. Something looks pretty suspicious. My goodness. I'm still getting the same results. And yet, my answer key says something otherwise for some reason. So far, I think those are the last questions. Yeah. I need a few minutes to reconsider number 49. Again, you know the drill. You can just skip this part of the video while I look for answers. Okay. Never mind. I have no internet. Anyways, let's consider b is 6 over 5. So with that in mind, we know that it's a negative cosine graph. So the template for a negative cosine graph is something like this. Y is equal to negative cos bt. Y is equal to, the amplitude is 0.75, so negative 0.75. Cosine, our b is 6 over 5, then t. So I think this is the final answer. Okay, let's try number 52. This time, the graph, the line comes from above, descending from its initial position of being in the amplitude. So this is a positive cosine graph. A, or the amplitude, is equal to 0.3. As you can see, what's between 0.4 and 0.2 is 0.3. The period is it's actually this one. What's here? But the question is, how could we be able to find it? So let's say that this is pi over 4, 2 pi over 2, 2 pi over 4 is still pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, and after 2 boxes we have 5 pi over 4. What's between 4 pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4? Apparently that is 4.5 pi over 4. So even in this sense, we're supposed to be very accurate. So we basically have 9 over 8 pi. And if we want to look for the b variable, let's say 2 pi over b is equal to 9 over 8 pi, or just say 4.5 over 4 pi. Multiply both sides with b, I guess. Apologies for not being sure with my procedures here. Again, this is just a documentation of my understanding. Okay, cancel. 8 divided by 4.5 is basically 16 over 9. So the template for a positive cosine graph is 1 is equal to cosine pt. Y is equal to cosine, actually 0.3 cosine 16 over 9 t. We know that the equation is positive. We know that the cosine is positive because based on the graph, it's in descending. It descends from its positive amplitude position. Unlike what we have in number 49, it ascends, coming from a negative amplitude position. So this is a negative, this is a positive. I'm pretty sure about this one, but this I'm not so sure. But yeah, feel free to check it anyways. If you find a mistake, then feel free to consider, but at least know that we are vigilant over number 49. Okay, this is one last. I cannot assure a correct answer here, but I'll still give it a try. I'm already pushing my limits. So amplitude is 6. B is equal to wait, we don't know B yet, but we know the amplitude is I'm sorry, we know that the period is 5. It's over here, the very t variable at the very right of the graph. And so because p is 2 pi over b and it's also equal to 5, let's say 2 pi is equal to 5b. B is equal to 2 pi over 5. B is equal to, yeah, just literally 2 pi over 5. And we do know that this graph is a cosine. It's a positive cosine graph. So the template is y is equal to cosine bt, or just put a. By the way, why didn't I write this before? Apologize for that. Y is equal to the amplitude, which is 6 times cosine times 2 pi over 5 times t, or just 2 pi over 5 t. I think this is the equation. According to some sources, this the answer is the denominator here is 3, not 5, but based on our solution right now, it is apparent that b is 2 pi over 5, nothing else. But yeah, it's up for you to decide which sources are correct. Sometimes the internet, certain sources contradict each other. But yeah, I do believe that this is a valiant effort to at least score something right. And yeah, this is something that you would want to take note of. I've mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. Sine functions, positive, this is what it looks like. If it's negative, then it's basically the other way around. Cosine function, this is a positive cosine, a negative cosine over here. So I think you're all set up. This is everything for exercises 1.3 of Mr. John Coburn's Precalculus. Thank you for watching.